Hi friends! I am moving on through the subjects for tips and tricks, so if you have a request of one that I have not done yet, please let me know below. Today I wanted to share some of my tips and tricks on geography, which is all about memorizing. So let's get started. Tip number 1. There are certain subjects that require studying from the very first day of class on. Geography is not a subject that can only be studied the night before a test. So just remember that as the most important tip. If you only take about 10 minutes before you go to bed to look over your class notes or a map that was given to you in class, you will be much better off than waiting until the last second. Tip number 2. I mentioned this in my last video, which was the science video about how there are songs on the internet that can help you memorize specific concepts. One of my favorite songs that I have known since I was 3 is the 50 Nifty song, which is the states sung in alphabetical order. I will link it down below. It is a bit of a longer song, but if you fast forward to them just naming off the states, it will really help you memorize them. Some people might think, how does this help? But for myself, something about knowing the song makes it a lot easier to place each state on the map, mostly because you know which states are missing, and it also allows you to focus on other important details like the state capitals. Tip number 3. I think I talk about color coding at least once in each video. I find it super helpful, especially when trying to memorize or learn larger concepts. For example, when it comes to having a map of the US, you can break it up into 5 different areas: the West, Midwest, South, Northeast, and the 13 original colonies. This is just one way to split it up. The best way to know how to do this is to ask your teacher how the exam will be. Sometimes teachers will ask questions like, name all the southern states, or something like that. The best part about color coding is that when it comes to sitting in class, taking a test, and you get a question about the 13 original colonies, you can think back to your color coding and go, oh yeah, I colored them all, fill in the blank. And you'll be able to visualize where they are on the map and hopefully name them as well. Tip number 4. This tip might seem weird, but it is to memorize by shape. It can sometimes be hard to decipher what is what on a map, but if you associate a certain shape or meaning to that state or country, it will be a lot easier for your brain to recognize it the next time it sees it. I think we all know that Italy is shaped like a boot, and how when we see it, we automatically go, oh yeah, it's Italy, because we recognize the way that it looks on a map. If you try doing this with other locations as well, it will become easier to memorize. I know some places are impossible to do this with, but there are plenty that it will work with. Tip number 5, test yourself. Look for games online and in the App Store. I think many of us think, oh, I'm in high school or college and those games are for little kids, but many of them can be quite fun and will actually help you memorize. Search the App Store for geography and you will find quizzes and games galore. Just take your mindset that games are for babies and throw it out the window. We are all on our phones 24/7, so you may as well study when on it. I found that it actually helped a lot because we all know that when we are studying, we constantly pick up our phone to check everything out. But if you're holding it, you'll see that nothing is going on and you'll be less tempted to go to other apps, hopefully. Maybe this is just me, but it is definitely worth a shot. Alright, so learning can be fun, and if you find a way that works for you, do not be afraid to apply it. Not everyone can just sit down and read over their notes 100 times and be ready for a test. I have so many different methods, but once I learn that one does not work for me, I toss it out the window and move on to my next idea. If you have any tips or tricks for geography or any fun apps that people could download to help them study, please comment them down below. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.